Coach Cowher, the New York Jets losing to Denver. I know the story has been Aaron Rodgers, understandably, but to your point, let's give Denver some credit and what the young quarterback Bo Nix is doing.
Yeah, and I'm going to give a lot of credit to Vance Joseph on the defensive side of the ball to begin with, because number one, this guy he sat there and took Patrick Surtain and said, okay, we're going to take out Wilson. Wilson. And you know what? And he put the pressure on Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers sacked 5 times, hit 14 times, and at the end of the game, when you sit there and look at what they did, Aaron Rodgers was under duress. You sit there and watch him right here, he was not comfortable. No one has a quicker release, but the thing that they did, they were dropping some guys in an intermediate zone, and Aaron Rodgers, you can see, this took a cumulative effect on him as you saw him late in the game. You see him right there grabbing his leg. Listen, look at him.
Blitz
guys underneath, they're bringing one more they can protect with. They are blitzing 50% of the time. You know, and
wait. Say that number again, Coach.
50% of the time.
That's every other play.
Every other play. And I think when they're not blitzing, it's because those guys are probably tired a little bit. So, I mean, listen, they went after him. Bo Nix, again, you talk about the right formula for young quarterbacks, getting better each week, and he's done it. And I'll tell you what, a lot of credit, again, to Sean Payton for what he's done with the young quarterback and letting Vance Joseph unleash at the defense.
Yeah, and I love that because you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers, and we all know one of the quickest releases in NFL history.
Right.
But you're telling your defense, hey, listen, I'm not going to change what we do. Our identity is collapsing the pocket, making quarterbacks uncomfortable. And if we do that early enough in this game and get some bodies on Aaron Rodgers, he won't be the same guy in the pocket. And they did that. We saw that quarter after quarter, Aaron Rodgers uncomfortable in the pocket, which is very rare for a QB like him.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's one thing to blitz a lot, but it's another thing to actually get home. And the Broncos are getting home more regularly than anybody else in the league right now. I said kind of coming into this, they've quietly been pretty good on the defense. It's not quiet anymore. They're very good. They're very good defensively.
Well, let me ask you this.
They're very aggressive.
The QB here, what are you seeing out of Bo Nix? The numbers and the stats, especially in this game, they don't jump out at you. But I'll tell you what, Mike Tice, my coach, my rookie year, told me one thing I'll never forget. You don't apologize for a win, no matter how you get it.
No, 100%. And I think, if you look at today, right, the weather was tough. Both sides offensively struggled. They were poor on third down, 3 of 14, 4 of 17. But you said it, I think it was week 1, Coach. For these young QBs, as we're going through this, it's important to learn how to not lose ball games before we're going out there and winning them on our own. And I think Sean Payton is doing a really good job of not overexposing Bo Nix to too many different looks, too many different concepts, too many different opportunities to throw the football. They're running the football. 126 yards on the ground today. Javonte Williams played well.
Yeah.
Right? Toed at that rock, 70-plus yards. To me, it's a good formula for success. Play excellent defense, get after the other passer, take the pressure off a young quarterback, run the football efficiently.
I just wonder, is this a blueprint moving forward going against the New York Jets? Because they took away the running game. Breece Hall didn't even play hardly the last fourth quarter. They put Braylon Allen in there. And you just wonder, are we going to take a 40-year quarterback and say, okay, go ahead and beat us. We're going to hit you. You may make some plays. We're going to take away your best receiver and see if you can beat us with the rest of these receivers. And I'm just saying, I'm looking at this as a blueprint because people study tape. And
that's a fact.
He can't keep taking these hits week in.
It's a copycat league.
Yeah, no question about it. And so to me, Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers, if they're both having input into this game plan, they need to sit back and reassess where they're at.
One last thing I want to hit on before we get off this is we talked a little bit about the dangerous 1 and 2 teams coming into this weekend and the desperation level that these teams had today. In the 1 o'clock window, where are my notes? Okay, the Colts win. They're now 2 and 2. The Bears win. They're now 2 and 2. The Falcons win. They're now 2 and 2. The Broncos win. They're now 2 and 2. Cowboys did it on Thursday night. We've got a bunch of others playing. Beware of those dangerous teams, right? When your back is up to the wall just a little bit early in the season, you come out and get efforts like we saw from the Broncos today.
And let's go back to the way the Jets are. Can they handle success?
Yes.
Now all of a sudden these 1 and 2 teams say, okay, we can do this. Is there is a desperation still there? This is where the head coach has to control that narrative.
Yeah.
We got ourselves back to even playing ground.
Yeah.
How did we get here? Because we had a chip on our shoulder. We were backed into a corner, and we came out fighting. Yeah. Why can't we come out fighting no matter what our record
Yeah.
is? And that's what you have to rely on.
When you're desperate, you find out who you are.
Yeah.
And I mean that literally.
Yeah.
You start to figure out what your identity is. Like, are we a pass team or are we a run team? Listen, we know we want to see Aaron Rodgers gripping and ripping, right? He's one of the best throwers ever. But I feel like the identity of this team is running the rock with those two young running backs, opening it up for the passing game. And by the way, passing game, I know everybody's thinking, what about this Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson combination? Why haven't we seen an explosion statistically? They're not on the same page. I'm just going to call it what it is.
You guys talking about it in here all day long.
When we seen Garrett Wilson make plays with a quarterback group that had a rotation of individuals as a young wide receiver, he had to do a lot. He had to ad-lib at the top of routes. He had to get open in double coverage. He had to do more than he was used to. Now Aaron Rodgers is saying, I don't need you to do all that. I just need you to run a route, get open, and I'm going to put that ball on your hip, at your chest, back shoulder. You just be where I need you to be, and we'll start making plays.
You are the veteran guy. You're Matt Ryan. You've been to Pro Bowls. You've been Player of the Year, just like Aaron Rodgers. What is your message to the New York Jets receiving crew as they go in there on Monday tomorrow?
Listen, you need to get on my page. Not your page. You need to get on my page. All right? We saw the clip of Aaron Rodgers. You were sitting right next to me, the body language. There was a chance late in that game where he's expecting Garrett Wilson to bend up the seam, too high look, to kind of bend that thing in towards the hash. He's expecting him to be there. His frustration after, the hands go to the helmet. You can see clear as day where the camera was, right on his eyes. They're not on the same page, right? I expect you to be at a certain spot at a certain time. Forget all the rest.
Yeah.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he's saying tomorrow morning in film.
With a degree of patience. With a degree of, like, trying, I would think, right? I mean, because you still have...
Coach, how much more patient can we be?
We're
creeping up on week 5.
This is who you got. This is who you got. So I'm saying you have to...
I think you can be demanding and you can be respectful.
Okay. As
right?
the
And I would not fight that in the media.
As the campfire starts to flicker out, because I know the fraternity could go to midnight on this, I'm going to come back to the coach and ask, as we pull back, give me a quick thumbnail. So your headline, as both guys have said, we're coming up on week 5. What are some of the headlines that you're seeing are taking shape, Coach, as you look at the big picture?
We have a body of work, okay? We have to understand what our issues are. And to me, what you're doing right now is problem solving along the way and understanding what you have as strengths, but more importantly, what you have as weaknesses. And you have to somehow find a way to mask those weaknesses and accentuate those strengths while still growth that has to take place. Because if we have a weakness that's going to be a deterrent to us trying to get where we want to get to, we have to find a way to solve it. So it's getting back to the simple things. It's the protections. If somebody comes out right now, if I'm the New York Jets, if they're going to line up and do this next week, I better have a different answer than I had today.
Yeah.
And so you know what? You're problem solving along the way.
Speaking of campfires, you want some more? Not like some more football talk, but s'mores. No? You don't want no chocolate and marshmallows?
Hey, folks, they're only scratching the surface, but guess what? They've got a lot more coming your way next week on the NFL Today. We'll see you at 12 noon on the NFL Today.